Dumb, cool,
weird
podcast. Okay, welcome to the Dumb, Cool, Weird podcast. This is Wes, this is Nick, and we have a guest today.
Hello.
Tell the people your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my first time. Hi, I'm Lovely.
Nice.
And I'm Nipples the Enchilada.
Yeah. And today we watched Street Trash. 1987. So what can we say about this movie? Jesus.
Well, if you like to get offended.
So that's literally why it was created, apparently, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, honestly, this was like a snuff film and what did you guys call it? Torture porn and fetish stuff?
And a melt movie.
And a melt movie, yes. That's a
degradation, torture porn, snuff film.
Yep.
It was definitely we couldn't decide what was worse, King Kung Fu or this. This is still remotely entertaining at times, but then highly traumatizing. King Kung Fu just makes me want to put a handgun to my head.
Sounds about right. Basically, this is a movie that I discovered because I saw a video on Instagram, and it was literally a guy melting into a toilet, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and the caption on it is, me when I have dairy at my age.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, that is true. I do shit a lot when I drink some milk.
Then you melt into the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't. My genes are superior to yours.
Thanks, Adolf. What else would you like to talk about? Do you want me to go take a shower next? You would have fit right in on that movie.
Yeah, there literally was a scene where this homeless guy was so sad that he had to take a shower. Hadn't taken a shower in 3 months.
I have a theory on this, all right? It's all animals in the wild. If they don't smell like the other animals, they can get attacked by their pack. Mm-hmm. So he was afraid that his pack would eventually attack him again. So you saw he was trying to drink up and trash himself up. They even gave him new clothes.
Yeah, they cleaned him up and put him back on the street. Basically, I can summarize this entire movie. It just follows a bunch of homeless people on the streets of New York, and they're basically just trying to rob people. They're trying to get money. They're trying to find booze.
Raping people.
Yep. Basically, yes. A lot of rape. A lot of
necrophilia.
A lot of necrophilia.
There was about to be some pedophilia in the movie.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Cutting genitals off.
Yeah, genital mutilation.
A lot of racial slurs slung around.
I like to call it terminal kinks.
Nice.
Yes, like cancer.
Basically, this whole movie is, they said it best, like these two said it best. It's basically no plot. Basically, what's going on in this movie is homeless guys do things. And then cops stick their nose in it, and then all of a sudden we go back to the main plot of the movie, which is about this poisonous alcohol from the 1920s from Prohibition era.
Yeah, with a really scummy, porn-looking liquor store attendant.
Yes.
Yeah, but what's weird about it is that it seems to be like the whole point of the movie, but you only see it in the very beginning, and then
you
the
get
very
5 times.
end. Yeah, it's like the distance between it is like the entire middle of the movie has none of that alcohol in it, so it's not really even driving the plot. It's really strange.
There's 40 minutes without that alcohol.
Yeah, and I was expecting there to be some kind of payoff with the alcohol. Oh, maybe Al Capone came to New York and made this alcohol, and it was a bad batch. They got mixed in with some fucking retrovirus or something that makes you turn to liquid shit, basically.
Like a goo monster that haunts the streets.
Yeah, but nah, we got no explanation on that. Literally, in the beginning of the movie, this Jewish guy runs a liquor store, goes into his basement, and accidentally cracks open the wall, and he goes, oh, what is this? And he opens it up. And he's, oh, this is 60 years old. And me and Nick did the math. We're like, oh, 1987, 1927.
Prohibition.
And so it must have been just a bad batch of alcohol. But personally, I've never seen bad alcohol do that to somebody.
We're not sure yet, though. I don't think we should drink something that's 60 years old and been living in a wall.
Yeah.
I thought it was really strange how everybody who drank it died slightly differently. Ultimately, one guy exploded.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a commentary on his weight because he was like a larger character.
Could have been.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. His death had me cracking. I was wheezing. I was laughing so hard at that.
But then that's the thing, though, is most people just melted. He exploded.
Yeah.
And then.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say the liquor store guy did a melt and explode kind of thing.
Yeah, then that one chick who was like the girlfriend.
No, she was the junkyard homeless, like poor is basically what I think she was billed as. Seriously,
she just walks around in a bra. Well, how she died was like zoomed in on her breasts melting, and she was like putting her hands up under the skin of her breasts as they like melted into goo. And maybe that was a commentary on her whorishness. I don't know.
Yeah, because they had remember she had the nipples that lactated the goo too.
Yeah.
Every time we describe it, it just gets worse.
Yeah. And by the way, a lot of these homeless people are Vietnam vets.
World War Nam.
Actually, some of them probably were Korean vets though.
Yeah, no, but yeah, most of them were Nam vets, and it's the fucking bone knife, the femur bone knife.
Yeah. And by the way, we get flashbacks to Nam, and we can figure out why this guy's such a piece of shit, because he's just making femur knives from bones of his enemies.
Well, he was a piece of shit in all of his flashbacks. It's not even...
Yeah.
We didn't even watch the fall of a character. He was just always a piece of shit.
Yeah, he never had any arc of being a good person. And even in the police station, like, yeah, he was a piece of shit. He was dealing drugs in Nam, and he was talking about making the locals parade around naked. This guy had no redeeming qualities. No, he was just the junkyard master. He couldn't even be the dirt master.
Yeah, he couldn't even be the dirt master. And see, one of the things that really bugged me about this movie is we had to turn on the subtitles because we could not understand a word half these people were saying. Literally, at the beginning of the movie, they introduced the Vietnam guy who was the leader of the junk people, as I call him.
Bronson, the king of the homeless.
And basically, the first thing he says to him, it literally came out as...
And the translation says, I'm going to tear his liver out of his asshole.
And then me and Nick looked at each other and go, that is not what he said.
In fact, 90% of the dialogue wouldn't have been heard. You didn't have the subtitles because most of it was...
Yeah, which actually makes sense because I've been downtown and I've been around some homeless people and they do talk like that.
Yeah, we also watched the homeless people pee on each other.
Yeah,
like in this movie.
That was fun.
Oh, like that. Yeah, so there was that one scene where the police officer who... Actually, did he even have a point as a character?
He was hunting Bronson down, but then
did his existence move the plot at all?
A bit. It did a bit, but it was just, there's a lot, like there was the hitman thing, and then he puked on the hitman, and then he was just like, you know what, I guess I'm just going to finally go after Bronson. I'm no longer going to wait for evidence.
Yeah, I think he existed for the sole reason to puke on that one guy.
And I also think that he also existed because he was just trying, I think he was the cop stereotype, right?
Yeah, the rogue cop.
Yeah, the rogue cop. There's a lot of stereotypes in this movie, and I think they were trying to go for that black comedy feel, but honestly, because of how ridiculous it was, I don't think it really... One thing that happened in this movie that really actually fucking was disturbing to me was they raped this girl in the junkyard, and then they dumped her body on the side of the riverbank, and then the big fat guy, which the fat guy has been in a lot of movies. He was in a lot of similar
movies like this.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of the trauma movies. He was the mayor in Toxic Avenger, but in this he's a fucking slime ball, and yeah, he basically has sex with a corpse,
and then he gets syphilis. And to be fair, that's not only disturbing. We were all disturbed.
He got his comeuppance.
Yeah,
yeah. The third guy. Wait, can you tell whose semen it is, officer? Yeah, we could, but it's not going to matter. The third guy had syphilis though, and he just starts scratching his dick like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's not forget the reason why he fucked a dead body is because the chick who worked for him refused to have sex with him. So he went outside and was like, oh, how convenient.
After trying to also sexually assault her. So it was,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of sexual assault in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Overall, it's 80s cheese. I would say it's the most over the top 80s cheese I've ever seen. If this was 80s cheese, had 80s cheese and then had a baby, that's what this would be. It'd be super 80s cheese.
And then that baby grew up and held a gun to its parents' head.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's 80s cheese to the max. So let's talk about the dumb, cool, and weird. So what?
I feel like we've gone through this.
Nah, but we need to lay it out. So what was the dumbest thing about this movie?
The homeless people that were doing all the murdering, the raping, and the robbing just existing in this junkyard that everybody knew about.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities. I would say that's the dumbest part. You notice the two brothers, even though they were fighting, they were one of the two that made it to the end alive. They could have done something with that. They could have made a commentary about how brothers stick together, and it's just...
Nope.
No, we're too busy focusing on necrophilia and shit, we're not gonna have a plot.
Yeah, and this is where I need to chime in and say I think the dumbest thing about this movie is the fact that we never got any backstory for this fucking alcohol. Pisses me off.
That's
yeah,
true.
that actually is a good one.
Yeah, it makes me mad.
Or
because there's a missed opportunity to have introduce some Prohibition era background, and they just didn't do it.
I'll add into that. Why did it only come up conveniently to kill people in the movie, but there was nothing more to it? Like, they just never built on that. Like, it just shows up, like you said, without a backstory, and then it just exists within the realm of the film.
To be fair, everything in this movie just exists. There's really no point to any of it.
This is true.
Yep, and the thing is, moving on to the cool, I think the coolest thing about this movie is obviously some of the special effects, especially when they're melting. That shit was pretty fucking cool.
That was solid.
I could definitely tell they put a lot of work and effort into doing the visual effects for this movie, a lot of practicals. So if anybody from the practical effects team, if you're still alive, if you're still kicking and you're listening to this, good job.
I liked their tire fort.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd hang out in there, if not that one specifically.
I just love how they had electricity ran to that tire fort too.
You see, that was the thing. They had electricity and candles.
Yeah.
They have to light the set somehow.
I guess so.
Yeah, but it's just funny because in the background, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they had practicals where they had a practical light set up in the back. Like literally, it looked like a house lamp that sits outside of the house. Where did that come from? What, are they tapping into the fat guy's power source or something?
That's why he's probably so pissed.
His power bill's so high.
He's trying to run a business and he's just got bums living within the realm of his business, killing and raping his employees.
And it is, and let's get to the weird. You know what's really weird about this movie? The fact that this guy owns this business and the junkyard. We've seen the junkyard. It's big, but it's not that big. How the fuck does he not notice 8 or 9 people living in this fucking junkyard?
No, I think he noticed. He just...
Why didn't he get rid of them?
Yeah, but there was
that Rambo Turbo cop got stabbed in the back.
Yeah, but I'm saying
but he didn't know about that guy. So he's walking around the junkyard with his dog and he sees the fat guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Who the fuck are you?"
No more bomb.
Like he had never seen that guy before. So that's what I'm saying. It's almost like he didn't know those guys were even in there. How do you not know?
Like he was only aware of the brother and his the 2 brothers, and that was it, and maybe the black guy. And then he was like, it's not like he never figured out that he had a psychotic ape of a man controlling the homeless, stabbing and raping people.
Yeah, that dog really wasn't doing its job, if you really think about it. That dog was the real bum.
We also found out that the night guard was just always strung out drunk.
That's true. He was passed out drunk
on some Burnett's.
Maybe the homeless people paid him with the Burnett's.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
I don't think the homeless people would pay anybody in booze. That's booze they could have for themselves. The homeless people in this movie.
Think about it, but there's a reason why they would pay off the guard, though, because
because
he's the gatekeeper for letting people in and out of there. But like I said, the fat guy, he was acting like he was unaware that any of this was going on because he literally was like, "Who's that guy in the bathroom?" And then actually, you know what? We didn't even see him at the end of the movie. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah, he just drove off. He probably had to go deal with his syphilis.
Yeah. His wife and his kids, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of problems, man. He doesn't talk to his wife, his kids. He has a gay dog.
Yeah. He's also the mayor of Tromaville. It's a hard life for him.
That's probably why he lost all of his hair and got fat.
Is there any final thoughts about this movie?
Oh, I thought the penis keep away was a really weird scene. Speaking of weird.
That was really weird.
That was a really weird scene.
And
he cuts off his dick, and then they're playing a game of keep away.
The weirdest part about that whole situation is the actor was just nonchalantly acted about it most of that whole sequence. He literally was just like, "No, dude, no, you're literally bleeding to death. Act like you're bleeding to death, dude."
Yeah, he would have died. Now, what I also thought was funny is when the junkyard whore caught the penis, and she almost got her teeth knocked in by the gorilla, Bronson. He's like, "You better throw that dick somewhere else."
Yeah, it's just, that was weird. And like we talked about during the movie, it's also weird that this cop was murdered here, and then the other cops didn't show up. But you know what? That probably wasn't a part of the budget. So let's be real. Probably not a part of the budget, so they probably couldn't have that.
Well, we were also supposed to get a dance, like a nice dance in the junkyard.
According to Wikipedia, there is a deleted dance sequence. Yeah. And I feel like that belongs in this movie.
It wouldn't be out of place.
No, I want the dance sequence. They should have left it.
We had unnecessary Vietnam flashbacks to tell us nothing, so we could have used the dance sequence.
Yeah. That was Street Trash. Me and Nick talked about it. We want to try to see some more movies with the fat guy in it because he's apparently been in like 6 or 7 of them. And
he died suddenly.
Of a heart attack, apparently. Shocker.
I know, right? Yeah. Who would have ever thunk it? Obesity kills you.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, that's a Dumb Cool Weird podcast. Nick, sign us out.
Stay sexy, Atlanta.
Thanks for checking out the Dumb Cool Weird podcast. We're a movie podcast now, so Movie Monday is every Monday about crappy movies from the 20th century. It's going to be great, folks. I can't wait to show y'all.